All right, Wayne on the root is on fire. We got a great guest, Dean Cain, actor, producer, filmmaker, starred in many Hollywood films, many TV shows, including the role of Superman in the TV series Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. Dean Cain, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Wayne. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you brushed up on your lawyerness for tomorrow. So that should be a lot of fun. I look forward to that.
Yeah, I'm kind of like an actor who doesn't read his lines before he walks out on the set. I have no time, so I'm just going to walk out and wing it. I haven't done one thing, to be honest with you, but I could make an argument in my sleep against illegal immigration. It's insanity. Yes. I opened the show today, Dean, with like 10 straight stories about illegal aliens raping and murdering and trying to murder cops, and Democrats defending them and trying to make sure they're not deported out of our country. Don't you find that just insane? It's one thing to say, listen, I want to deport all of them. I really do. If you break into our country, I want to get rid of everyone. But I can at least understand the argument if you're a nice person, you're naive, and you say, that man has been here 20 years and he's been a good person and he's worked hard. I don't want you going after him. I'll have that debate with you, but at least I can understand your side. But the fact that Democrats defend people that are rapists, murderers, and pedophiles who rape little children, and they seem to be like it's the most important thing in the world to not allow them to be deported or to be sent to jail, is just beyond my ability to understand.
I can't explain it in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like any other country on the planet, we have the right to enforce our borders. And that's what ICE means, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Now, if someone breaks in here, said that guy who's been here 20, 30 years, they have had multiple opportunities to make themselves legal, and they haven't taken that step. So that's the problem right there. I mean, I've had a home in Spain for 20 plus years. I follow their immigration laws. Every time I travel or work in Canada or Mexico or Europe or any place else, I follow all of their immigration laws, and it's an easy thing to do. People here have just taken advantage of the system. The Democrats want the voting base, and they want to give them free things to get their votes. And they want to legalize everybody who's here illegally in order to have a larger number of people for apportionment for Congress. I mean, so it's real straightforward, but it's not safe for the American people. It's against the law. And if they don't like the way that the laws are written, then
change the law.
Your congressmen and women.
Right. Change the law. But you have no right to break it. You have no right to break it. And not only do illegals, Dean, not have a right to break it, but no politician. See, here's Trump's failing. I love Trump, but I don't understand why he's not arresting people like Mandami and Karen Bass. When a mayor says, I will not allow ICE in my city, and if they come in my city, I will warn ICE they're coming, and I will actively defend. You don't need to comply with federal immigration law. Really? That makes you a criminal. That. You're a criminal. You're aiding and abetting criminal actions, and you're refusing. That's an insurrection, refusing the laws of the federal government of the United States. So we should be arresting those politicians to set an example.
Yeah, I don't know what the DOJ's take is on that. I recently sat down with our acting attorney general, hopefully be soon the full attorney general, Todd Blanche. I would like to have asked him that question. I guess I should have talked to you before I sat down with him because I don't know the answer. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense. Here's federal law. We have the supremacy clause. Of course, you know, whether it's a constitutional question, whether the states' rights allow them to do that, I don't know the answer, but it seems insane, and it's against the security, the national security of the United States of America.
You would have made a good lawyer as well. You're a good talker, but you're probably like me, right? I went to school and I got straight A's, but never studied, never cracked a book. I'm just not the type, right? I didn't want to spend 3 years in law school. I went to Columbia University and I said, I can't wait to get out. And I canceled my idea of going to law school because I just couldn't even stomach another minute in a classroom with these boring professors. Oh my God. It was like getting your teeth pulled sitting in a classroom at Columbia for a guy like me. Other kids loved it. But for me, I was like calling my bookmaker instead of going to class. It's just, I wasn't cut out to be a student, a studier, you know? Because you could have been a lawyer. You're a smart guy. I bet you didn't like classrooms either, right?
Didn't love it. I'm a Princeton guy. I graduated from Princeton, but I didn't. When I got there, I was shocked at how sort of behind I was. But by the time I was a senior, I was cruising. cruising through. So it was a little more difficult for me coming from a public high school in Santa Monica, a Malibu kid, and I was the first kid from the football team that ever went to the Ivy League. We had some other guys that could have done it, but I'm the first one to have done so. But I didn't love class, man. I was so happy to get out of college and be done with that and get out in the world and sort of, find my way, which I'm still finding at the ripe old age of 2.
I have a feeling that you had a very similar college career to mine. I was going out every night to Studio 54. That was my Columbia time. I was calling bookmakers during the day, betting on football games, and I was going to Studio 54 and Xenon at night. And I'm sure your career was not much different at Princeton. But
it has not worked out for either one of us. Terrible.
But here's the deal. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you're going to be very proud of me that I know this. I believe you're the all-time leader in interceptions in a season in the history of Princeton, the Ivy Leagues, and I think you're like tied for the all-time number in the history of the NCAA or something like that, right?
Well, actually, yeah, for Princeton in the Ivy League for sure. And for a long time, for 13 years, I held the interception record in a single season for a player, which was 12 at my senior year. But I did it in 10 games. So what I do have, I still hold 2 NCAA records, which are per game averages. Per game average for a season, 1.2, and per game average for a career, I had 22 in 30 games. So wow. I like to pick off passes, and I led our team in tackles, and so I was a very active free safety. That's why I got my shot to go play for these guys, the Buffalo Bills. And unfortunately, that ended a little bit too early, like early. Like I could have had, if we talk for 10 more minutes on this call, on this interview here, that's about how much time I got to spend in Buffalo.
Did you get hurt, by the way, when you were with the Buffalo Bills? The injury ended your career? Is that what happened?
It was a knee. And I didn't think that was the end. I thought I was coming back. And my rookie year, we lost the AFC Championship. I was a rookie with Thurman Thomas. And so we had, Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, Darryl Talley. We had all these great, unbelievable players, and Andre Reed. And I that was the time. So if I'd have played for 5 years, I would have seen 4 Super Bowls. And I love to believe that we would have
won a couple of them with you.
And I made the squad.
There you go. I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan, by the way. I've been for, since I'm 5 years old. So I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan for over half a century. And we beat the Bills in 2 of those 4 Super Bowls pretty badly.
Thank you.
So I'm
glad you weren't.
I'm glad you weren't on the Bills.
Yeah, that would have hurt. But Jason Garrett is one of my real close friends. He was my quarterback in college, and he ended up playing for the Cowboys for a long time.
I missed that name. Who was it?
Jason Garrett.
Oh, Jason Garrett. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Princeton. Right.
Yeah. He was
a brainiac too. Smart guy. Very good.
Smart guy.
All right.
Great guy.
He would. Because I'm a Cowboy fan my whole life, I remember the few times he came in, and he did fantastic every time as a backup when there was an injury. And I believe one of those was a big national Thanksgiving game, and he had a great game, threw a winning touchdown, I think, against someone, probably the Redskins, if I know. Now they're the Commanders, but in those days they were the Redskins. They should be the Redskins.
Wayne.
So you served as an honorary ICE officer. How did that come about, and what was that experience like?
Well, I'm a sworn deputy sheriff and have been for close to a decade now in Frederick County, Virginia. I'm a reserve police officer in Pocatello, Idaho. I joined those forces because it was during the, defund the police time, and people are always picking on the police. And I'm like, the police are heroes. Are there bad instances? Yeah, there are. Can there be bad contact with police officers? Sure. And that's the outlier, and it happens, and there's a way to rectify that. But calling these people, Nazis and Gestapo and things of that nature, and going against the police at the time, I thought that was insane. So, excuse me. So I joined the police force. I became a deputy sheriff, became a reserve police officer, and then all of a sudden this thing came up with ICE, where everybody was going after ICE and saying how awful and terrible, and they're Nazi and they're Gestapo. And I was like, this is insane. So I joined as an honorary ICE officer. I went through a lot of the training. I haven't finished my training. Todd Lyons, Director Lyons, who was the head of ICE, retired at the end of July, and end of June. Maybe May, I don't know what it was. Maybe May, the end of May. And so I need to finish. I want to finish up all of my training, and I want to become a full-fledged ICE agent. I think that's important. I think it's important to stand with these men and women who protect us every single day and enforce the law. And calling ICE agents Gestapo, I want to put I'm not a Nazi. I don't wish ill will on anybody. You know, I'm a nice person. I root for people to do well. I would help you, you know, get out of your car or get up or any of those things. But if there's a bad person there and they've broken the law, I'm going to be one of those people who try to enforce the law. These people are heroes. I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them every single day.
All right, you and I are like carbon copies, my friend. We're like the same person. And by the way, I spent 13 years in Malibu. I lived in right above, it was in the Trancas area, and at the very top of Trancas is the Maharaji of India's home,
yeah.
his mansion, right? And I was right next to my home, overlooked him when his helicopter pad, the only legal residential helicopter pad in all of Los Angeles County was allowed to take off, and like maybe 2-3 times a week, I'd hear this wild noise. My whole house would shake, and it was the Maharaji's helicopter taking off right next to my house, and it was the most majestic thing. It was amazing. But I spent a lot of time in Malibu, and I'm glad I left because, Dean, in the 24 years I've been gone, I've been in Vegas 24 years. Both houses I lived in Malibu have since burned to the ground. So it's lucky I didn't stay because my house would be gone. And my life would be dramatically changed. And
well,
then
you have a lot less money too, because all of your money we paid in taxes.
And the other thing you and I have in common is you moved to Vegas from Malibu, and that's what I did all those years ago. So, congratulations.
I did it 3 years ago, and it was the smartest move I ever made. I wish we were talking about this 20 years ago. I might have zipped out earlier, but I'm happy being in Vegas. Love Nevada's laws and what's going on here. So I'm extremely happy to be here with you, my friend.
Think of all the money I saved in 24 years of that ridiculous taxes in California. And Dean, tell them all, where do those high taxes go? Why do you need such high taxes in California? Because of all the illegal aliens.
100%. And all the, homelessness there is and the NGOs that do things there, homelessness, welfare state, all those things, Medicare,
climate change
for everybody,
climate change.
It's just grifters, and guys like Gavin Newsom are absolutely reaching in everybody's pockets and putting everything through a non-governmental organization, whether or not it's attached to his wife's new NGO or whatever it is. I mean, they're just fleecing the American people. There's no reason for all that madness out there. Half of the United States homeless population, I think, is in California, which is it's because they encourage it, pay people to be there. They pay them to give them money, our tax money, and they pay them. There's a reason that California went from a $95 billion surplus or something like that to absolutely huge deficit. And there's a reason that Gavin Newsom's doing just fine, and his wife is doing just fine.
Right, no cry
it's
for
a
them.
terrible thing. Please do not California our United States. I'll do anything I can to stop that from happening.
And don't California Kate Nevada. And the guy running for governor is my buddy, Governor Joe Lombardo. He is the present governor running for re-election. He's great. Who's running against them? I think he pronounces it Aaron Ford. Aaron Ford. He gets mad when you call him Aaron. Aaron Ford. And this guy is such a commie loser that I heard today Newsom is in Vegas endorsing Aaron Ford. And so Governor Newsom is here trying to California Kate Nevada. He's not happy he's ruined California enough. Him and his wife together are under a federal investigation, and I'm sure there's a good reason for it because I'm sure they stole a lot of NGO money. But again, it's an opinion show, just my opinion. Last but not least, what do you think of the job that President Trump has done?
I would give him an A+. I love what he has done. And I was on a show yesterday where somebody was picking on me, going after everything. Is he a convicted sexually liable, blah, blah, all this crazy stuff. And has he turned around the economy? Has he done all this? Has he done no new wars, blah, blah, blah. I believe President Trump loves. I love this country, and if you cut me open, I'd bleed red, white, and blue. The same as Secretary Hegseth, and the same as President Trump. President Trump is a patriot. He loves this country like very few. And I think when you have a tanker, which is the United States, moving down a waterway, it takes a minute to turn it around. I think we were in big trouble under the prior administration. Biden's administration is the worst I've ever seen ever. And I think we were in huge trouble. It's going to take a minute to turn that tanker around. And President Trump is having to fight with Congress fight with some of his own rhinos and things like that to get things done. But I truly believe he's been playing 3D chess. I love what he's doing in Iran. Clean it out, finish the job, please, and maybe there'll be peace in the Middle East. And I'd love to see the midterms go toward the Republicans, because if he has that happen, we will be in the golden age of the United States of America.
So when I was, again, you and I are like two peas in a pod. When I was younger, I was in my 20s, I was a big time potential game show host in Los Angeles. And I was picked by ABC and Merrill Heater, who was the biggest game show producer in the city, to be the new host of Gambit. And they found out that I was a Republican because I held a fundraiser at my Malibu home for the Republican National Congressional Committee. And it made the front pages, I think, of the Malibu paper. And I think it also made the LA Times. And all of a sudden, my agent dropped me. And ABC did not pick up the pilot, and Merrill Heater never called me again, and I lost my entire career. So I want to know how it works out with you, because Hollywood's worse now than it ever was then. How do you keep a career going, Dean, in Hollywood while being a conservative MAGA guy who's pro-ICE and pro-Trump?
It doesn't make me popular with some of the producers out there, but I think, again, times are changing, because all this woke garbage that Hollywood's been putting out is dying on the vine, and it's costing them hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think that at the end of the day, it's a business, and people are going to go, no, I don't like this. I love the fact that David Ellison will be taking over Paramount. I love that, and maybe even Warner Brothers. I'd like to see some of this woke slop stop getting made. I'd love to see more shows like, or more films, big blockbusters like Top Gun Maverick, things like that. I'd love to see that happen. For me, Hollywood doesn't tell you to your face that I won't hire you because I think you're conservative and, support the police, which is crazy because every third show is a cop show. But
right.
They won't say that to your face. They'll stab you in the back. Although my agent recently did just tell me, that there was something I was up for, and they were like, Dean Cain? No way. That guy's, the crazy MAGA right wing, insane person. It's
of course.
What is insane about loving the United States, supporting our law enforcement? I root for everybody. I want everybody to do well. And I gave a speech yesterday at Freedom Fest about what I think the American way is, and put it out there pretty straightforwardly. And I think that's true. I think America's the best country ever. We have the most freedom. We're the most giving. We're the strongest nation. We have that frontiersman, rugged, never say die attitude. And we also think that we're going to win because we believe in what we're doing. I do believe that there's a lot of providence from God that protects the people here and allows us our freedoms. When you look at and when you travel outside of the United States, that's one of the biggest ways you can try to do business outside the United States. You start to understand how we are we're not perfect, but we are the greatest nation on earth, and we're always striving for a more perfect union. And part of that is having these conversations with people we disagree with, and they don't do that enough. And then I put out my content. I do a lot of Christian faith-based movies. I just directed 2 this last year, produced, directed, wrote, starred in them. They're going to be coming out this year. I'm just finishing up those projects now. Just shot another movie in Texas. I keep working despite the blacklist, despite all this happening. And I think I'll be able to beat this turn when people don't ask you about your politics when they're trying to hire you for a film. They just look at you and look at your talent and say, maybe are they the right person or the wrong person? Or I'll create it myself, my friend.
You know who you remind me of? A very good friend of mine, Kevin Sorbo. And he's very much politically like you and does his own movies. Can't get movies in Hollywood anymore, but he makes his own and he's doing very well. Their movies are doing fantastic. They're mostly Christian themed. Kevin and his wife, Sam, really good friends of mine. And he's a regular guest on my show just as you are. So, Kevin, do you know Kevin? Are you friends?
So one of the films I just finished was called Holy One. It's about a guy who was going down the wrong path, completely gambling, drinking, womanizing, and then he tries to kill himself in sort of It's a Wonderful Life kind of a way, and then he gets a little help and becomes this guy who's quoting scripture and playing golf. And Kevin Sorbo stars in it, and Sam Sorbo, she plays his wife in it, and it's a beautiful, fun film called Holy One that I'll be finishing probably in the next 30 days.
All right, so you guys are friends now. Very good. You guys are friends now.
Great. Oh, yeah. We have been forever. In fact, when we came out of Superman, there was 2 of us left. The final 2 people, myself and Kevin Sorbo. So I went on to play Superman. He went off to play Hercules.
Hercules, right. Hercules and Superman. I love it. All right. I will see you tomorrow at Freedom Fest. You're my star witness. Remind me when I see you because my birthday's coming up and I got a big party. And guess who sent a letter to be read out loud to the crowd at my party? President Donald J. Trump. It's the most beautiful letter. Remind me to show you the letter. You're going to get a kick out of it. And he hand wrote some of it at the bottom. He is just an unbelievable guy, and I agree with you. A plus, A plus. He's doing a great job. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Kevin. See, Kevin Sorbo's on my mind now. Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean Cain. Superman, I'll see you tomorrow at the trial at Freedom Fest.
Thank you, Wayne. Let's get it.
God bless. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.